everybody. How are you all feeling today? Have you had a lovely day? Thank you so much for coming to join me for another special Playbox Dreamtime Bedtime story. My name is Emily and I work here at Playbox. And I can't wait to see you all again ever so soon. But for today, I'm really looking forward to telling you one of my favourite stories ever by a brilliant writer. So this book is called The Sea Monster by Wormell, and has some lovely messages in it and really beautiful pictures. I hope you can see them all right. I hold my book up. So I hope you're sitting comfortably. Get all snuggled up and cosy, ready for a beautiful tale before we go to bed. Down at the bottom of the ocean, there lived a great sea monster. Barnacles and limpets clung to his scaly skin, and seaweed grew from every wrinkle. In the gloom, his eyes shone bright green. Most of the time, he stayed down in the wavering kelp, watching the boats sail by. Can you see him there? His bright green eyes. But sometimes, early in the morning, he would swim up to the shore and he would sit among the rocks at the corner of a lonely beach. He blends in. He looks so similar to the rocks. It's almost like he's camouflaged. Can you spot him? He would sit very still, and the seaweed hid his bright eyes, so no one ever saw him there. Mostly he was content just to watch. He's a very peaceful sea monster, isn't he? Look, I can see a family there playing on the beach, and they have no idea that he's there amongst the rocks. One day, a boy came down to the beach with his dog to sail a little boat in the tide pools, which are a bit like the rock pools. Among the rocks, at the corner of the beach, he found a deep pool where the water was crystal clear. As he watched sea anemones and crabs at the bottom, the boy had the strangest feeling that he was being watched. Now, we all know that he was being watched. Who's he being watched by? That's right, by the sea monster. I can see his green eye peering out from the murky depths. Then the boy saw something shining bright green high up on a seaweed-covered rock, and he started to climb. His dog began to bark. "My boat!" cried the boy, as the sea took his little yacht and carried it out among the waves. The boy scrambled down, but it was too late. The boat was far out of reach. How do you think the boy was feeling? His little boat in the distance. He was probably feeling quite sad. The boy dived in, but the ocean current had caught the boat and was taking it further and further out to sea. Do you think it's a good idea for the little boy to have dived into the water all alone? I hope he's going to be all right. I hope he's a good swimmer. Oh dear. The current caught the boy too, and soon he was far out in the deep water beyond the bay. He could just hear the barking of his dog echoing among the rocks, because the little dog is far back on the shore. The boy is all alone in the water. Who can save him now? High on the cliff, above the corner of the beach, in a grey stone cottage, there lived an old fisherman. It was a while since he had sailed the seas catching fish, and most of the time now, he just made model boats. Look at his little house there. I bet he has beautiful views. There's the old fisherman in his workshop, making a boat. Sometimes the old fisherman sat alone on the cliff top, watching the boats sail by He saw seals and porpoises and great basking sharks, and sometimes, just sometimes, he saw strange green lights shining in the murky deep. Now, you and I know what those green lights are, don't we? On this morning, he heard barking in the bay below, and looking down, he saw a little white dog jumping from rock to rock and splashing in the surf. Turning to the ocean, the old fisherman could just make out the head of a little boy among the distant waves. I wonder if there's anything he can do to help. Beside the cottage, some stone steps climbed down the cliff. It was a long time since the old fisherman had been that way, but he could still run down 2 steps at a time. At the bottom, he kept a boat hidden among the rocks. Although it was years since he'd rowed that boat, the fisherman could still pull through the waves, just like the old days. Do you think he's going to go out to try and rescue the little boy? I hope he'll be all right. Far out into the ocean, the old fisherman rowed, but he saw no sign of the boy. The waves grew big, and the sky grew dark, and the old man had almost given up hope, when suddenly the little white dog began to bark. I wonder what it's seen. And there, on a strange round rock, a round rock that was covered with barnacles and limpets, and with seaweed growing from every crack, they found the boy. Look, they're going to rescue him. It's quite peculiar to find a rock that far out in the middle of the sea, don't you think? I wonder how it could have got there. Do you have any ideas? Later, safely back at the old fisherman's cottage, the boy looked out over the vast ocean. That's strange, he said. It's low tide, isn't it? And yet, there is no sign of the rock where you found me. The old fisherman smiled. Some rocks are strange, he said. They just pop up when you need them, and then you never see them again. The boy thought about this. And after all of that, I still lost my boat, he said. Never mind. You shall have this one, declared the old fisherman, and he presented the young boy with the model boat that he had just finished making. Down at the bottom of the ocean, among the wavering kelp, the great sea monster sat, and in his hand he held a little toy boat. The end. He looks very happy with that boat. So I don't know about you, but I wonder whether that sea monster had something to do with the rock that rescued that little boy, the rock that saved that little boy's life and enabled him to stay and wait for the fisherman to come out in his boat. And I wonder if the little boat that the sea monster is holding is the one that used to belong to that little boy. What a lovely story. I'm certainly going to keep my eyes peeled out next time I go to the seaside. Thank you so much for joining me for another Playbox bedtime story. I hope you sleep really, really well. Be cosy, and we'll see you at Playbox ever so soon.